This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Well, joining us today is Tony Hamilton, the CEO of Georgina Energy. Thank you, as always, for your time. Tony, how are you?
I'm very well, Mark. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it's good to be talking. I'm going to catch you on a few things that have been going on since, of course, you've completed that RTO into mining, minerals and metals. I know the name is still in the process of changing over to Georgina Energy, but the ticker is GEX. That has indeed changed. But I mean, first of all, let's just talk about the Hussar project then. That's the project that you own 100% working interest in. You can earn up to 90% interest as well in the Mount Winter prospect. But just on the Hussar prospect, you're looking to re-enter that well last time we spoke, by the end of the year. And you reckon you've got about 155 million cubic feet of helium. So, I mean, how have things gone since you've RTO'd there? Are the plans still on track to be re-entering by the end of the year?
Yes, Mark. I mean, we were listed for the grand total of 8 days, and we put out a press release on the 8th of August, an operational update. We remain on target to re-enter Hussar in December, and that process is ongoing. We have, as you know, our native title agreement, but we're now completing the preparation of our complete drilling program, which it will be forwarded to the government authorities, who will hopefully grant us a drilling permit. And as I said, every other element of the process to re-enter Hussar is extremely good, even to the point where our consultants and contractors have been able to determine that the wellhead top plate has an inspection valve fitted and that it's actually serviceable. So that's very positive for us. And from our perspective, as I said, we remain completely on target to re-enter the well in December.
Okay, so those plans are being finalised. You're going to submit to the authorities. You did say hopefully get a drilling permit. Is there a little risk around that, or you don't foresee that being a problem?
Well, I think as with everything, we will fully comply with all the requirements placed on us, and we will provide a fully detailed drilling program. The government is the government, so it might take some time, but I do believe we will certainly get our permit. And therefore, as I said, you err on the side of caution, but our target remains, subject to the permit, to re-enter the well in December.
Okay, good stuff. So then on Mount Winter then, this is the other project where you expect about 148 million of cubic feet of helium there. And I understand you've been formally invited by the Central Land Council to meet with the traditional Aboriginal landowners in Alice Springs in September. And the purpose of this meeting is to seek approval for the exploration permit. So what is this meeting all about? I think you're going to do some presenting of your different exploration and development plans, but this is quite an important milestone, isn't it?
Yeah. So to give you a bit of history on it, we signed a farm-in agreement with Mossman Oil and Gas back in May of 2020. It's actually been under application for, I think at that stage, 14 years.
Okay.
And one of the key and as a consequence, we paid them. We have an obligation to pay. I think we paid them $15,000 when we signed it, and we pay them another $15,000 when the permit's granted. Our Aboriginal consultant is a guy called Bob Liddell. He was actually knighted by the Queen back in 2013. He holds an Order of Australia medal, and he is an indigenous Aboriginal elder, and he's extremely well credentialed. So as a result of that, Bob has negotiated on our behalf and secured from the Central Land Council a meeting on the 11th of September in Alice Springs with other representatives of the company. And the purpose of that is to seek permission from the indigenous community for the granting of the permit from an EPA to a full EP. There has been some confusion in in various circles with regard to that. The reality is that, as it says in our prospectus on, I think, page 12, we hold no interest in Mount Winter until such time as the application is granted. But we're extremely confident. The plans that we will put forward to the Indigenous community are that we will be doing exactly the same as we did at Hussar. And the ultimate aim is to provide a benefit to the communities in the Northern Territory, but at the same time, develop the well into a production well. So from our perspective, we have a history in terms of our ability with native title and land access agreements. We have an extremely good Indigenous title consultant. So I think from that perspective, having said all of that, we feel pretty confident that although, as I said, it's been under application, I think, for 16 or 18 years, that sometime after the 11th of September, we should get a successful outcome, which, of course, will then be subject to another RNS.
Indeed. So those plans you've got are prepared already, or I guess in the latter stages you've got about a month or so just to finalise them, to present them. I mean, if it's been under application for 14, 15, why was it not progressed? Was it just not a focus of Mosman at the time?
I can't speak for Mosman. I do know that over the years there's been various issues with regards to the Indigenous population in the Northern Territory. I do know that about 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago, there was some concerns over fracking, and therefore they required an advice from the government authority on the merits or not so merits of fracking. And I believe that was undertaken. And I think there was a lot of just concern with regard to the implications of the development of these wells. So I can't speak for Mosman, but clearly from our perspective, we've picked it up at the right time with the right people, with the right plan. I mean, we are preparing as part of that process. Once the Indigenous community grants approval, we will be reprocessing the seismic. We will be preparing a fairly detailed analysis, which we will then obviously submit to Mosman and Oilco. Yeah. And at that point then, because we are the operator of that farm-in, and so we take full responsibility for the native title, for the programs, for the development work, everything that goes into it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it is very important that First Nations are on board, Aboriginal landowners, etc., are on board. Again, you don't see any risk here? Are you able to allay any of their concerns?
I do believe that because of our previous experience with Hussar, albeit in Western Australia, and the fact that we've demonstrated a compliance with the concerns of the Indigenous landowners, that I don't see us having a particular problem. We're not doing anything that will cause them, and we're certainly not infringing on any of their heritage areas, which have been annexed out of the area, which don't apply to where the wellhead actually is. So at this stage, I have a very good degree of confidence, and I have a high degree of confidence in Bob Liddell and our technical team that are going up there, who between them have over 50 years of experience dealing with exactly this circumstance.
Okay. Well, you mentioned the team there, and of course we've spoken to you and Mark as well, but I guess there's more people in the team, and now you've RTO'd and you're able to get active. I assume those people are becoming more busy. Could you perhaps give us an idea of who's on the team and what different roles they're doing?
Yes. Well, I mean, our technical director is probably the key, and that's John Hugh. He's a 50-year veteran. He was originally the founding director of Central Petroleum, who were in fact the largest landholder onshore of oil and gas leases or licenses. So John, and then what comes with John and myself is a range of individual contacts. For argument's sake, the gentleman, the independent consultant that did the CPR, He's a 40-year, highly distinguished veteran of the oil and gas industry, still currently active. As we said in our announcement on the 8th of August, we've got a scoping study which is also being done by a highly experienced consultant. We've got the drilling permits. We've also engaged a consultant to do the resource evaluation. Again, his credentials are second to none. And when that obviously comes to pass, we will provide details of those various individuals. And then, of course, all the individual consultants that we use, who collectively between them, I would think on average have over 40 years of experience in the West Australian and Northern Territory oil and gas industry.
Okay. And you mentioned the CPR there. That's due, isn't it? That's being worked on at the moment.
Well, the CPR was in the prospectus, but what we are looking at is that one of the things that we said in our announcement is that we've been able to secure reprocessed seismic, which wasn't readily available when the original CPR was compiled, and that is now the basis of a resource evaluation being undertaken, and we're actually reviewing that reprocessed data. And in fact, what's happening is they're synthesising both the seismic and the AEM-PTP aerial survey. And in the case of the AEM-PTP aerial survey, that has the ability to essentially provide a view down as deep as 3,000 metres of an anomaly. And then what you tend to do is the AEM-PTP, which we flew over Hussar, it presents, in this case at Hussar, it presented a gas anomaly. That anomaly will then be subject to reprocessing of seismic, which will then give us the definition and structure and scale and size. So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes with regard to that. And obviously, from our perspective, when we do obviously get to the final conclusion of the resource, the evaluation of it, then there may well be an update to the resource scale.
Okay. Good. So you're fairly busy then as we're going into sort of Q4.
Yeah, we everything that we did say, both in our prospectus, in our announcement on the 8th and our announcement on the 9th, is going ahead as planned. And in fact, I had to laugh yesterday because someone said to me, "Oh, but how do we know you've been invited by the Central Land Council?" And I went, "Well, there's the letter on letterhead, and I can assure you that we have the invite." So we're not about to be making statements that we can't support with fact. And clearly, from our perspective, we have a whole range of other things going on in the background with regard to Mount Winter, with regard to Hussar, and regard to delivering what we ultimately set out to do. So expect further announcements from the company over the coming months, not least of which would be the granting of the drilling permit, not least of which would be the resource evaluation, not least of which would be the execution of an extension on the MOU. And obviously, at some point prior to December or in December, we would announce that we've commenced drilling at Hussar.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that update today. Tony Hamilton, the CEO of Georgina Energy.
Thank you, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.